Good afternoon, Santa Clarita. This is Jesus Henao of Leola Commercial and the Commercial Hour. Be in the know your city. If you're thinking about owning and selling apartments, industrial buildings, or shopping centers, you're in the right place. We talk commercial real estate. Live the American dream. Put on your jersey, sweatband, and get in the game. We're here every Monday from 12 to 1 at KHTS AM 1220, FM 98.1. And today we're going to talk about some deals that are happening in town, and then we have some very special guests from College of the Canyons. So believe it or not, there's a lot of deals happening here in Santa Clarita, and I'm just going to touch on a couple of these. The first one is in Valencia. There's an industrial building that just sold, bought by Rexford Industrial. It was on the market for about 78 days, and this property sold for about $134 a square foot, located on Avenue Sherman in Valencia. So that's a big deal that went down. It sold for, what did it sell for? It sold for $9.5 million. Next, over by my office there in the marketplace, over where we have, what is that place? Rattlers. I love the salmon at Rattlers. Right there used to be an old Home Depot on Carl Boyer. That building just sold to a private trust, and that sold for about $4.8 million. Now look at this. Compare this. $259 a square foot. Big difference from the industrial. So retail is still very hot. I'm wondering what they're going to put in there. Maybe it's an owner-user, so we'll find out shortly on that. Back to industrial in the Valencia Gateway. A building sold there for $10.5 million, about $172 a square foot. So if we're looking at price per square foot, you're looking somewhere, things selling somewhere between $160 to about $180 a square foot, and a cap rate of a 5 cap. So there is income being generated from that property. Next, a friend of mine sold a building that's been on the market for quite some time. It's a medical building. It's on Kelly Johnson. Sold for about $5.8 million, and this is office building. So let's compare and contrast on office building and industrial. As you can see, retail is getting a higher price per square foot. You're seeing industrial is a little bit lower, somewhere between, like I said, $1.60 to $1.80. This center, and it's completely vacant. It sold for $236 a square foot, and this just closed a couple of weeks ago. My friend Yair Haimoff at Spectrum Commercial Real Estate, he closed that deal, and very, very cool guy. Does a lot of business out here. Right down the street from here, literally 5 minutes, this is a shopping center. Shopping center sold for $267 a square foot, and right here on Newhall Avenue. It sold for about $1,925,000. Now, I want to talk about my specialty, what I love, and this will blow everybody's hair back. This just sold. 2 apartment buildings I'm going to talk about. One is Alara Links, and that's across the street from my favorite place, Jamba Juice and Panda. And that property sold recently to a real estate investment trust for $84.5 million. Now look at the cap rate, 4.16, and the price per square foot about $390, and a price per unit. Now when we talk apartment buildings, we look at the price per unit. This property sold for about $367 per unit. Very good price, nice property. As a matter of fact, I have a friend that lives there. Nice property. And then the last one, this is a small one down the street here on Walnut. So this is and I wanted to buy this property. I thought it was such a good deal, but I got to it a little too late. It is on Walnut Street in Newhall, and it sold for about $4.6 million. Now look at the cap rate in Newhall. It sold for a more aggressive cap than the Laura Links did. It sold for 3.5 cap, $207 a square foot, but the price per unit was $230. Very good buy. There's low rents, no rent control, built in 1983. So that's what's going on in the market today. So it is active. There are deals being sold. If you are looking to buy and sell, give me a call. Definitely help you out. Now, in studio today, we have 2 people that I met a couple of months ago before I went to Peru, and I was trying to promote my show, and I said, well, let's see what's going on at College of the Canyons. They must have a real estate program. So I called Kevin from College of the Canyons, and he says, hey, why don't you come down to this meeting? We have a board, and we talk real estate. Maybe you can help us out. what do you do? We don't have anybody that does commercial real estate. So I came in, and here we are. Welcome, Kevin. And we have Allison that it took the real estate class out there in Canyon Country. So welcome aboard. How are you today?
Thank you very much for having us.
Hello.
They're a little nervous. I don't know
First
why.
time up. Yeah, I've never done this.
Well, let's break the ice. How did you get involved in College of the Canyons?
I've been in the hotel restaurant program, and I started the hotel restaurant program there at College of the Canyons, and I'm the department chair of that department. And the real estate department's been there for 20 years.
Really?
And they have, the department chair retired, so I was Bob Brode. So because I was the department chair of a pretty similar operation, they asked me to step in, and the faculty's all been there about 20 years, so I'm just basically administration and handling. I'm having a great time with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a very interesting field. So.
Now you also teach, right?
Right. I teach hotel restaurant operations, hospitality law, marketing, all the fun stuff.
And how long have you been teaching?
I've been at College of the Canyon. I've just started my 20th year. Before that, I taught at UCLA Extension for about...
Oh, he said the wrong word. UCLA, guys.
Yeah.
It's a good school, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of fun there, too. And so I've been at College of the Canyons. Right now, I'm wearing a couple of different hats. I also direct the Institute of Ethics, Law, and Public Policy. And in the summertime, I've been taking students to Rome, Italy.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
You're paying for it, right? Or are they paying
for
it? Because if you're paying for it, I'm signing up for the class.
Actually, the students all kind of, they take a couple of classes with, they take my tourism class and they take an art history class. And it's been interesting. This year, my partner, Professor McCaffrey, and I are going to be presenting a virtual tour of Pompeii.
Wow.
In the scholarly presentation, which is, I believe, November 14th, and that's open to the public at the PAC, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Good. We talked a little bit about that before, and I'm putting that in my calendar because my wife and I would definitely love to check that out. And one day we'll get there and see it in live in person. And so what courses are they offering there? And you said you're teaching restaurant management. What other courses are the program offering there?
Well, on the real estate side, we have 4 classes that are we've started. Real Estate 100, which is principles, and Real Estate 101, which is practices. Those 2 are required classes for students to take. And then we're going to be in Real Estate 115, the legal aspects of real estate, and Real Estate 105, which is financing, and they have to take the first 2 classes, and then a third class, and then qualify to take the sales certification test.
So if they take all those courses, do they get some associate's degree, or what do they get out of that?
They'll get a certificate with that.
Okay.
And if they take all of our 8 classes, which includes appraisal and escrow procedures, and if they take a principle of accounting class, plus, they will be able to take the broker's license exam.
Got it.
And but we also have an Associate of Science. If they want to do a 2-year program, they can get an Associate of Science in Real Estate, which I think, from an educator standpoint, this is an excellent preparation to get 2 years of college, get your psychology, political science,
absolutely,
in under your belt. So,
and when do courses start? By the way,
courses started today.
Today, wow!
All right.
So we took you out of class.
Yeah. So,
and are the classes packed? Is there still room to sign up? Is there how much time do they have if they went online and said, hey, I really like this real estate course. I want to take it. I want to learn more. Can they still sign up today? Are your classes full, or how does it work?
The classes are full, but they do have a wait list. And, the wait list, sometimes people sign up, they don't show, and then they move people off the wait list into the class. Or first session or 2, they realize they don't want to do real estate, and so then we move people from the wait list onto into the class.
Sure. Now let's talk a little bit about the restaurant management aspect. You might look at that and say, well, that's not real estate. Well, it is real estate because if you want to start a business, and we've talked about it on the show,
Right.
I mean, you're looking at an open space. I'll give you an example. We're at New Hall Crossing down the street here.
Right.
I'm looking for tenants to put in here.
Right.
And I'm looking at Versailles. I'm talking the Portos. I'm talking all these places
Sure.
that I think would be amazing because I would come in. Who doesn't love Portos? I love Portos.
Exactly.
I'd be here every weekend. I mean, that is real estate. That's business. I mean, does somebody in your course learn what to do when they see the open space? They see something they like?
Well, Allison, who is here today, took my classes.
All right.
And she went into real estate. And I've had a number of students that take my classes and they want to open up their own restaurant. And I'll say, I won't tell you to do it or not do it. I'll just tell you the questions I'd ask.
Perfect.
And
That's what he said.
So we have Allison in studio today. We have Kevin Anthony from College of the Canyons. We have Allison Taylor from Home Smart. She sells homes, and she's taking the course here so she can verify that it is a good course to take. And what did you think of the course, Allison? What did you get out of the restaurant management side of things?
Oh, on that side, it was amazing, and it did lead into real estate. That's why I started getting the degree in that. Was starting off in his restaurant hospitality, and then he would have us go out and do field trips or make us do plans. And I was actually working in a restaurant type atmosphere. And so I started analyzing that from a business perspective. That led into a 17-page proposal of possibly purchasing it. And he worked hand in hand with me for about a year going over that with me. And the end result, like he just said, he won't tell me to do it or not to do it, but in the mix of all of that and studying it from that perspective, I realized that I wanted to get into real estate. And so I had already done it when I was younger. I had taken one course, and that's all you needed at the time to get the state license. So I did get that. And so obviously.
You had your real estate salesperson's license when you took the course?
I did, yeah. That's from 2006-07, I think.
Okay.
So it was very easy. You just took one class at the time, and so then they put.
Did you take the class at College of the Canyons?
I did not. I actually took it at Pierce in 2003.
Got it. Okay.
Originally. But then they updated the new laws where you had to apply for 3, and I just kind of felt like if I was going to do this, I really wanted to, to help other people, I wanted to educate myself, and that led into me continuing education into real estate.
Perfect. So. And from a student perspective, how easy was it to go sign up and get direction?
Oh, it was easy as can be. It was amazing. So, and all the teachers, they're amazing, and they give you hands-on experience, and it's
Perfect.
I would definitely recommend anyone who wants to get into the industry to do it that route, because it does take time, but like he said, once you go through the classes, you need 2 years experience anyways, and it takes about 2 years to go through those courses, and then you can immediately apply for your broker's exam. So.
Perfect. So while you were taking the classes, you were actively working in real estate? Were you selling homes?
Yes.
Got it. And you're with Home Smart now, right?
Yes.
And how do you like that?
It's good. It's different, but it's
How
good
can
for
they
us
get a
each.
hold of you? They want to sell it. Somebody wants to sell their home out there. They're looking to, hey, I need some real advice. I'm teetering about maybe buying a second home. Where can they get a hold of you at?
My telephone number?
Give it out, please.
661-312-0484. And also on Facebook, just under Allison Taylor. And honestly, that's one of my biggest lead sources is from Facebook. So.
And website, I'm assuming?
ataylor.realtor.
Perfect. .com. Good. So if you're out there looking to sell your home, by all means, please call Allison. And Kevin has said that he gives her a thumbs up. She knows what she's doing. She's taking the courses, so she's very well qualified, and hopefully we can get some more business for you through the show. So let's talk a little bit about the process. I've taken the courses. I have my principals. Maybe I received my associates. What's my next step to getting my license? What do I do? Allison, you could.
Yeah, well,
today.
to get the state license is not necessarily that hard. You just take the 3 classes. So there's practice principles, and then you get to choose whichever other alternate class you would like. So you can do escrow, appraisal, finance. I think they have the legal aspects of law, and then you have a couple other ones. So to get the state exam, you would basically achieve those classes, get the certificate or your transcripts, and then you send that into the Department of Real Estate along with what they call a live scan, which is where you get your fingerprints done.
Okay.
And they've even made it more easy. So before you used to have to do an actual application,
Sure.
and then you would, or an exam, so then you would pass the exam, then file for an application, but now they actually do that together. So you can do it all together, and as long as you pass the exam, your application is immediately submitted as well.
Great.
So it costs roughly $400 or $300. So it's $60 for the exam fee, and then the application fee is $345. The fingerprint process is about $49, so it's relatively $400. So
Okay.
once you, and it does take about 6 weeks. So once you apply for it, that takes the Department of Real Estate about 6 weeks to approve, and then you can go on the board and you just set up your exam date. So they have
Okay.
5 facilities from Sacramento to San Diego. I did here in near Bruna Park in La Palma.
Sure.
And
There's a casino there in La Palma.
there
Indian
you go,
casino.
see?
Yeah, I've been there.
You're being efficient. If you pass, you go to the casino. Yes, no. And to get the state exam, I think it's 150 questions, and it's about a 3-hour course. So it is multiple choice. You do it on a computer, and to be honest with you, you only have to pass it with a 70. It's a pass
that's
or
not bad.
fail. You don't know your score. They don't tell you that. They either say you passed or you failed.
So you set the date. You go. Well, before we get there, how did you prepare for the exam, or did you not?
For this, like I said, unfortunately, I practiced for the state exam. I mean, obviously, you take the courses, and like I said, unfortunately, at the time, I did it in '07, so it was just one class, and then you
Okay.
took a crash course. They offer those in some real estate companies. I think I went with Rodeo Realty. They had a 2-week crash course where they kind of just review everything with you, and then you go and take the exam. So.
There's another way too. I know if you take the courses at College of the Canyons, you're ready to rock when you
And
put that date, right?
That's what I was just telling you about the brokers. I did not study for the brokers, and it was all from the classes that I had received from College of the Canyons.
That's good.
Right.
Go
You
ahead.
know, I think that at College of the Canyons, and this cuts both ways for my hotel restaurant class as well as the real estate. The value that is really shared, and it's by all of our program, is that we create individuals that learn on a daily basis.
Sure.
And I think that's, if you put that 2-year degree behind you, you're a learner. You're someone that's going to go out there every day, and you're going to be in tune with what's going on, and you've got this habit of learning, and it's something that is, and it's not just my program. I can say that for all my colleagues. This is what we really push for. So,
Yeah. I think even me, after all 24 years in the business, I'm always learning something new.
Yeah.
There's always something that comes up, and you never stop learning. And
Right.
each transaction is different.
right.
There's something unique about every deal. But with time and learning, because you're continually learning, you'll be able to solve those problems and move forward. So let me ask you this: how many students go through the course?
Well, right now we're probably we run 4 classes each semester, and I'm going to think we've got well over maybe 100 to 200 students that are going through it, and some start and stop, and they go back and forth. I don't have the exact figure for you on that, and it's
Well, you said the most important thing: you're full now.
yeah. we're full.
There's a waiting list to take so people are actively looking at real estate as a career option.
Right, and that's true.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, absolutely. So, okay. So, a little off topic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it has to do with real estate. What are they doing on the corner of College of the Canyons with all the construction? What's going on there? I see it every day. I'm like, wow, look at all this construction here. What's going on?
We are busting at the seams, and we've had to put in a new parking lot.
Oh, really?
And it has been, and so it's part of, I believe it was part of the prop money. We've been able to put together that. I think it's going to be parking for our students. Parking has been such a struggle for us.
Especially at the football games.
Oh yeah.
There's never parking there at the football games. People are on the street everywhere.
When I first came to COC 19 years ago or 20 years ago, we had 8,000 students. Now we have, well over, I would say, 20 to 25,000.
Wow,
So
that's a lot of
it's growing.
students. And are you saying you think those students are commuting, or were they from here, from Santa Clarita?
They're from here. I have students in my hotel program that come from Big Bear,
Big Bear. Wow.
Ventura. I have a student that's taking my class that is out of state, and she's taking the online class. And so, and we've got a large number of students from the San Fernando Valley as well as our local community here. So
Great, great.
actually, COC is we're rocking and rolling as far as our performance in so many areas is just not top of the state but top of the nation. So we really are developing quite a reputation.
That's great. Once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. This is the Commercial Hour. Jesus Henao with Leola Commercial. We have Kevin Anthony from College of the Canyons and Allison Taylor from HomeSmart. And we're going to a break, and we'll be back. Thank you for listening.
Little I Leaders is the newest preschool in the Santa Clarita Valley. At Little I Leaders, our outstanding teachers lead with intellect, perspective, and heart. That means our programs provide a warm, nurturing atmosphere to meet the unique needs of each child. We believe that play is a powerful form of learning for young children. That's why our kids have every opportunity to learn through the magic and excitement of play. Parents, schedule a tour today by calling 303-0400 or online at littleileaders.org.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Have you ever been in the middle of cooking on your barbecue and ran out of propane? It can be so frustrating. Don't ever run out of propane again. Call Plumbing by Kirk to set up your free estimate. Find out if your barbecue can be retrofitted to hook up to natural gas. Plumbing by Kirk can assess your situation for options to hook up your natural gas line so that you'll never run out of gas in the middle of cooking again. Give us a call, 263-6519, 263-6519, or go online at plumbingbykirk.com.
My dad is the best plumber ever. Call Plumbing by Kirk.
Santa Clarita's hometown station. Hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
Santa Clarita, welcome back to the Commercial Hour. This is Jesus Henao with Leola Commercial. We're here every Monday from 12 to 1. We have Allison Taylor from HomeSmart, and we have Kevin Anthony from College of the Canyons. We're talking the real estate program. We're talking about real estate transactions, and we're now going to take a little different approach, and we're going to talk about a home transaction. So we're going to start with Allison. I have, say I'm a first-time home buyer. I've saved up my money. I have maybe $5,000, $10,000 saved up. I want to buy a home out here in Santa Clarita. And I'm looking, who do I call? Well, I recommend call Allison. So I've called you. Allison, I have this money. I want to buy. What's the next step?
I think, honestly, the first part is having a consultation. And I like to go to my client's home to actually see the lifestyle that they're currently living in, to learn what they like and dislike. So I'm a very visual person. I go there, I find out what they're looking for, what they're comfortable spending. A lot of people will say we're paying $1,500 in rent, but we want to buy a $400,000 home, and obviously your rent's going to go up $1,000 a month. So I try to actually work backwards from what they're comfortable with and how much they can afford to go up. And then the first thing, obviously, is to see if they qualify for a loan, because you don't want to take them out and start showing them things if, unfortunately, something has changed. And it could be something as simple as they changed jobs and took a month vacation in between. You have to have 2 years of steady employment, whether, in the same industry. So a lot of people don't notice that. And I know that, they think it was innocent. And they're like, but I am in the same industry. I knew I was going to get that job, but that you missing that part can affect you. So the first thing, obviously, is to get them with a reputable lender and then move forward with there.
So number one, we're qualifying them. Can they afford the mortgage?
Yes.
And obviously verifying if they have the deposit. And then you're going to put them in contact with the right lender. I'm sure you work with experienced lenders that can say, hey, check this person out. Here's their financials. Here's their pay stubs. Here's their W-2s. What can they buy?
Yeah, and that's another thing. A lot of people, there are different lenders and things like that. And, I mean, I could talk hours and hours about this. My lender is Wintrust Mortgage. It is a local mortgage company out here. That's Martin Rodriguez is my lender, my gentleman that helps me. He goes into detail of all the numbers and will explain to me what I can help assist the clients with, because out here you have so many elements that people don't think of, like how an HOA affects you, or how Melrose may affect you, or special assessments.
You hit me in the pocket twice already with both of those.
Yeah,
HOA
and that's
and
the thing,
Melrose.
is that people don't realize how that can change things. And, and that's that's why I said when I start off, I like to have a consultation with them and kind of explain that process, especially here in Santa Clarita, because you'll have homes that say they're $400,000, and then you'll have homes that say $500,000, and your clients start, second guessing you. They're like, why aren't you showing us the $400,000 one? But after you start adding up all those fees, it affects you as if it was a $600,000 home. So it's kind of understanding that backhand or the background stuff that doesn't necessarily come right out.
So in essence, what you're doing is you're setting them up for success.
Exactly.
You want to be able to service the client, look at their financials, and be realistic with them and say, hey, look, you really can't afford a $2,500, $3,000 mortgage. You can afford maybe a $2,000, $2,500. That's within your budget, and this is what you can buy with that.
And this is where I like to sit down with them, understand where they're coming from, how many people are living in the household, how can we make this work. I have some people that are husband and wife, but then their daughter's 19 or 20, so they can use her income as well and purchase the home with them. There was a situation. I had a client come to me shortly ago, and they wanted to be first-time buyers, and they were in a great home in West Creek that has Melrose, and it was like they were paying $2,800 a month. But in order to get them into the same equivalency, it would have taken them up to like $3,800 a month.
Wow.
And I was like, no, stay where you are for a year. Let's get more of a deposit. Let's, kind of figure that out. And I did take them out and show them homes and things like that. But the reality is that, if you feel you can afford that, how about take that year to understand that and pay that as if you were paying it, so that we are set up for success. Because the last thing you want to hear is that you put somebody in a home that they can't afford if they're not thinking of all those nuances that can go on.
And that happened many years ago, and a lot of people lost their homes and were hurt.
Exactly.
So great advice, Allison. Thank you so much for that, because people don't take, sometimes you think, oh, I want to buy the house. Just get me in the house. But they're not looking at all details, because now you also have to talk about insurance. Yeah. What that bumps up the cost a little bit. Taxes bump up the cost. The Melrose, which almost every home out here has some kind of Melrose. Property taxes, HOA also.
Yeah.
So those numbers start adding up really fast.
Sometimes HOAs can be a benefit, especially if they're offering gardening and trash or water, some of them. So it's like you inquire about those things, and then you start to learn if it kind of outweighs the HOA expense.
Where are the good deals at? Where do you see people moving to? Or have they talked about the new homes that they're going to put in, the 21,000 homes out there? Are people talking to you about that? Where's a good deal? Or is there such a thing out here?
A good deal out here.
Or are you sending them to Palmdale, Lancaster?
No, honestly, I do real estate all over Southern California, predominantly here. This is where I live and my office is. But, I mean, when you ask me that, I'm like, well, we could find them in Bakersfield. We can go to Lancaster, Palmdale. But, honestly, I found a lot of good deals here, too. And I think Castaic has some amazing deals where you can definitely find a home that is well priced. I think people are starting to migrate, starting to push out towards Castaic. You're going to have the Fillmore opening up, and obviously they're going to be widening that, and people are going to start traveling there. So I'm very optimistic that, prices will start to settle as more building does happen. And I know everybody doesn't like that, but they don't want to pay the high prices. And it's like, well, then we do
So
have
let me
to
ask
go.
you this. The more homes that come on the market, the values will probably come down, right?
Exactly.
Would you agree with that?
That's what I'm saying. So, I hear a lot of people upset that development got approved, and they're like, oh, the congestion. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, homes are so expensive. And that's what I try to explain to them. Guys, we need to build in order for the prices to come down. So
Simple supply and demand.
Yep.
Not enough supply, there's a big demand. That means the prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
If there's a lot of supply, then the prices will level out and come down. So just a quick question before we switch. What would you say is the difference in prices, like, say, Palmdale, Lancaster, or Antelope Valley with Santa Clarita? 3,000 square foot home. What would you find out there for what type of price?
I recently just put somebody out there that was around 420 for about those specs. So
And
then
here in
out
Santa
here
Clarita?
would probably be about 620.
Wow. That's about $300,000 swing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
big difference, just so you understand. And then would you say that Castega's probably it's not Santa Clarita, but it's probably a little bit, it's not Antelope Valley, but it's somewhere in the middle there, I would say.
yeah, and actually, I'm going to change that. I think Santa Clarita may be more expensive than that. Castega's probably about 600 right now.
Really?
Yeah, 620.
And Castega's not a bad place. I have some friends
It's
that live
not,
there, have
yeah.
beautiful, they're nice homes. You can find some good backyards too. They're not crammed in. and when they start fixing the freeway, I think you're going to be fine. So that's a good place to go.
I think something I'm starting to notice a lot of, and from people that I'm talking to, especially the younger generation, they're very much into the smaller homes. They want the tiny homes. They want to learn how to develop them. They want to learn how to build them. They want
Really?
And it's definitely.
And what about the
starting to-
condos and things like that?
Again, I think they like
Townhomes?
the idea of just having their own space, detached homes. So like a planned unit or a PUD, planned unit
Development.
or something like that, where it's their own space and they don't have the attached walls because they want to play their music, they want to enjoy themselves.
They want to
and-
crank it up, right?
Yeah, and it's I notice a lot of and I'm speaking on the younger generation because I am lucky enough to work with a lot of them, and it's a very interesting thing going on that I've noticed is that a lot of these children, mostly because I think they were affected by 07 and 06 and seeing their parents go through a lot of disappointing things, that they started saving their money, and they have amazing credit scores. And I'm running in, some people don't even use credit, but yet they have money, and they're young kids, and they're out working 2-3 jobs, so they're 30 years old, and they have this amazing credit, and
money saved up too.
Exactly, and I'm just starting to realize that they really want to be conservative. They want smaller homes, and they're not necessarily needing all the big home to feel
Sure. Perfect.
for families.
Thank you for that insight. That's very good to know. And Kevin, so let's talk a little bit about restaurants. We touched on it a little bit in the first half of the show. Right. I want to open up a fondue. I love fondue. There's a fondue place, I think, in Ventura. I haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
But I love fondue. So we're going to open up a fondue shop right here down the street in the new Hall Crossing, new development. What do we got to do?
Okay, the first rule, it's not what you want to serve, it's what people want to buy.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And you got to start from that point.
Who doesn't like fondue?
Yeah, that's everyone starts out with their mom's recipe, and and you got to, and you don't know. You go out, you start with a concept, but you got to be ready to shift. What are people going to buy?
So there has to be some sort of market study is what you're
Yes.
recommending right off the bat.
Look at what's being sold. It's a taste, and the taste changes. And
But what if I have let's pick a restaurant, an Olive Garden or a name brand. What happens then?
well, first off, I want to just back up and say, confession, I have the best job in Santa Clarita.
Very good.
I teach hospitality, and so I attract students that are really good-natured.
Okay.
And they're passionate. And Allison is proof. She went through my program, got straight A's. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot of fun with what I do. And we're going to have a restaurant operations class that starts in October here. That's a hybrid, which we meet once a day, and then the rest we're going to. I structured you to get through it online, so it works very well with people who are on a limited time schedule.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. College of Kansas does offer online courses for the business person, the executive person, somebody working a job. That's a great. I didn't know that. That's good to know.
I've been offering my classes online since 2005, so it's been quite. So we've really knocked out the.
Is that a live or is that pre-recorded?
Well, basically, there's not. I'll use YouTube. I don't really record my lectures per se, but I give them directions on how to work through the material, basically.
Okay.
And but back to the restaurant, I really think they say 2 out of 3 restaurants fail, and nobody knows where that statistic has come from, but it's my experience. 1 out of 3 people that get into a restaurant have passion for it, and if you have passion for it, you're going to make it work.
Sure.
And but what I would like to suggest is just do some homework. You know, what has happened now? The economy's good and everyone's doing well. Now's the time to prep for when the economy's going to slow down.
Yeah.
And when it does slow down, you want to make sure that your margins are really carefully. You've paid attention to that. I'm working with the restaurant right now, and they're having some trouble with the local community, and they've lost touch with their community, and they've got to build that bridge again.
Sure.
You know, you're in that community, and you got to make sure your noise level is down and things like that.
Yeah, you know I think you hit the nail on the head. It's hospitality. And I think of Cheers, everybody wants to know your name.
Sure. Well, hospitality has really evolved, and it's because of Starbucks. Mm-hmm. Everybody gets that Starbucks service in the morning, and they want to have that service the rest of the day.
Absolutely.
And so the restaurant product is not just that food, which everybody can put out a good, decent plate. Mm-hmm. It's going to be that human contact, that hospitality that connects. And this is where a restaurant, I take a small restaurant, and a good small restaurant beat Olive Garden anytime.
Yeah.
Because you got that contact. If you've got that contact, you can compete with them.
Everybody loves that. When you walk in, they know you on a first name basis. How you doing? And the amazing part is, you want the Diet Coke, you want the water, you know ice, and they know what you like. That I think is the secret to the success.
Right.
But people overlook that because they're thinking, how many people can I process?
Right. And
that's where they fail.
And sometimes just the structure of the business model it's destined to fail. They're paying too much in rent, and they haven't done their homework. They haven't taken some time to check the laws, the employment laws. And I've talked to one person a couple years ago that first year turn to profit had to write a check for $10,000 to ADA for a violation.
Oh, that's a big scam too.
Yeah, it is.
ADA is Americans Disability Act is what that is.
Right, and you've got to but there's a way in which you can prepare yourself so you don't get hit with that.
Yeah, hire a good architect. You can call my wife at sharkdesign.com. But no, we deal with a lot. We deal with that a lot, and people think it's just the restaurant, but no, it's restaurant, industrial, office.
Right.
And so you have to be compliant with the city and look at the ADA obviously because it's big money.
Well, you know, I know of a restaurant that did not work their lease out properly, and they did not, and the person that owned the property had complete control of the parking lot and was not ADA compliant, and the restaurant had to pay the fine.
Yeah.
You got to make sure going into these, you asked all the right questions.
Sure. The forms we use are the American Industrial Real Estate Form, and that covers that. But you're right. You have to hire somebody that knows what they're doing because the question will be, is the owner of the property responsible or the tenant responsible?
Right.
And if you don't know what you're doing and the landlord's responsible,
right,
and you have no control over it, and now you're the one that gets slammed with a bill.
Right, $4,000.
Yeah, so that's very okay. So we do our research. We understand. Hey, yes, this fondue place is going to be good for Newhall. What happens next? Well, you call a real estate agent, right, to negotiate the lease. We got that out of the way, and we have a signed lease. A pretty clean slate. It's not because it's new. Nothing's there. What do we do next?
Well, I would back up one step. You're going to have to come in there and make some, you're going to have to design a kitchen.
Okay.
And you want to make sure that, and some restaurants go off the rails at this point because you want to design a functional kitchen, that you got enough space to prepare the food, and you put your map together, you take it down to LA County, and they approve it. You can't do anything until they approve that plan.
Okay.
And so you get the plan approved, and then you can go in and you can build that. I'm amazed at how many restaurants don't take that step And then the health department comes out there and they just, sorry, you got to close up for 3 months until we do it the right way.
Wow.
But
wow.
We address
and that's
these,
common, by the way, because my wife gets those calls all the time. I won't say the name of this place, but there's a shop right around the corner from here.
Right.
And the contractor came in and says, "Oh, we know what I'm doing. We just don't go to the city. We'll do it for you." And they start doing it. And then all of a sudden the city shows up and says, "Well, hold on a second here.
Right.
Stop all construction. Stop everything. You cannot build." And then my wife gets the phone call. "We need to get this approved." And yesterday,
yeah,
I'm losing money. I'm paying the lease. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, everything's like last minute." But then when you start dealing with the city, it takes time because you now have to do the plans. What if you don't have the existing plans? You have to recreate the plans.
Right.
Take them down to the city. And then the other part is, well, we talked about ADA, but the plumbing. Where's the plumbing at? You have a grease trap.
Right.
I mean, there's the sprays for if there's a fire. I mean, there's so much stuff. The hood is it a commercial hood? You can't have just a regular home hood on there.
Right. And I'd like to start from the menu, work back. What are you going to sell?
Sure.
Okay, let's design the kitchen off of that. Make that functional. What's it going to look like? What's your concept? And be ready to shift that concept. What do people want to buy? It's a great creative. It's exciting. It's an exciting industry to get into because all these things can be. You can deal with these things and you can be successful, very successful. But you just got to follow the process.
And I have a good recommendation. If you really want to be successful, please take Kevin Anthony's class at College of the Canyons. And I'm joking a little bit, but for seriousness, you want to avoid any pitfalls.
Right.
And if you go in there and you have no formal training and you're shooting off the hip, and my wife deals with this all the time, believe me, you'll save a lot of money because they start blowing through money. And the next thing is when you design the plan, stick with the plan. Talk to your architect because what happens is the owner says, no, it's my place. I'm going to do what I want. And then he starts making changes, and now you're off the plan that the city approved, and now the costs start rising. It's called change orders, and those change orders will start growing, and next thing you know, you're out of business because you can't maintain it.
Right.
Yeah. And so, once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Commercial Hour. We talk commercial real estate here in Santa Clarita. Good resources today if you're starting your own, if you want to get into real estate. On the residential side, which we haven't talked, which is great insight today with Allison Taylor here with HomeSmart. And we have Kevin Anthony in from College of the Canyons. There are resources available for you to get ahead, to learn the business. If you want to do restaurants, if you want to learn real estate, it's here for you right here in your backyard. People are signing up. The classes are full, but don't get discouraged. There's online courses. There's waiting lists. And I highly recommend that. I wish that resource was available to me when I first started many years ago. But now you know. It's right here in your backyard. Once again, thank you for tuning in. This is the Commercial Hour. Jesus Henao, and we're here every Monday from 12 to 1, KHTS, the hometown station. We'll see you next week.
Life's not meant to feel complacent. It's meant to make you feel alive. The youth ministry at the Church on the Way Santa Clarita believes that students can belong to the group where we will help them believe they have a purpose in Christ and become all that He has created them to be. We want to see God's power come alive in our generation. We love meeting new people, so come hang out with us. Doors open at 6 p.m. and service starts at 7 every Wednesday night. For more information about the Church on the Way Santa Clarita, including service times and what's happening through the end of the year, visit tcotwsc.org.
The Santa Clarita Artists Association is hosting our annual gala, The Art Classic, Saturday, September 29th from 1:30 to 5 p.m. This fundraiser highlights professionally judged original artwork by local artists in all mediums. For only $25, you can enjoy live music, wine, hors d'oeuvres, and meet the artists in person. The Art Classic will be held at Hart Hall in Hart Park. All artwork will be on display for free public viewing Sunday, September 30th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. For tickets and more information, visit us at santaclaritaartists.org.
There's only one Santa Clarita plastic surgeon who is Yale trained and board certified, Dr. Justin Heller.
To be a board certified plastic surgeon like myself, what that truly entails is about 5 to 7 years of honed surgical training in reconstructive, all areas, as well as aesthetics, which means your facelifts, your breast augmentations, your body contouring, true training and board board certification. In fact, that's the only board certified area that can be achieved in this realm.
Dr. Justin Heller, warm, understanding, always available for guidance because he's local. HellerPlasticSurgery.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Commercial Hour. Jesus Henao of Leola Commercial. And I have here Kevin Anthony and Allison Taylor. Kevin from College of the Canyon and Allison from HomeSmart. And we're going to wrap up the show here. And I got a couple of questions that I always ask my guests. And here it is. Who wants to start first? Pick a number from 1 to 10, Allison.
3.
What number?
3.
You won. Perfect. Okay. I've been wanting to get somebody on that. Okay. What recommendation you got for the young guy out there or the young girl out there that's 18, 19 years old, just fresh out of college, fresh out of high school, thinking real estate or anything? What do you recommend for that person? What recommendation do you give them so they can be successful in life?
To sign up at College of the Canyons.
Okay.
I mean, with all due respect, that's why we're here. But I got to be honest. I went to that campus maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it was an epiphany. When I very first started going there, I'm like, how did I go most of my life without knowing this knowledge? And I'd been in the restaurant industry for roughly 8 to 10 years at multiple venues and multiple places. And when I walked into the hospitality, restaurant, hotel management, it was a whole nother world to me, and I just started looking at things differently, and then obviously thinking about owning one rather than just working at one, and then it leads into real estate. But it's that educational aspect, and it's not hard. The classes are an hour and 20 minutes, but it's definitely something to preoccupy your time. But the things that it comes off of that, it's not just that, it's where it leads you. And so it's the educational aspect at all. And it's by choice. A lot of younger people are going to school because they have to, or they live at their parents' house. But
that's the best time to do it, though, right?
And it is. But the best thing about college is that it's a choice. So you're not forced to go to it, but it's something you want to do.
I forced my son, though. If you don't go to college, you're not staying at my house.
Come on, it's good the same.
Well, that's great, and you meet great people, right? Here's where you met your professor.
I definitely recommend educating yourself in both these classes for anything. No matter, even if you're doing something else, I still think you should take a real estate class, which is why I did it in 03. Because one day you're going to buy a house, and you might as well educate yourself on that to begin with. But the classes are amazing, the teachers are amazing, and actually I think my second sale was a teacher there. And the amazing part was, I have so many wonderful stories about the professors and teachers there, but this one specifically, she knew I told her I had joined and started doing the real estate, and she almost coached me, in a sense, on my second transaction, and it was a very interesting thing. But I just remember years later still thinking about that, because she knew I was new, but she knew my personality, and to trust me with that. And it's like, there were a couple times she was like, "Hey, why aren't you doing this?"
Well, a straight A student, absolutely. You're already telling everybody that you're committed, you're going to do a good job, and you're going to work hard.
Yeah.
Those 3 elements, you can't go wrong, right?
Right.
That's great advice. It seems to be a common theme around here that go to college, get an education, right? What about you? How about any recommendations for
recommendations?
I've
got a lot.
Kid, just graduated Valencia or West Ranch or Hart, and I'm looking around. I don't want to go to work at Jiffy Lube. I don't want to join the Marine Corps. That's too tough. What do I do?
Well, I'm going to speak as a single parent.
Okay.
Because what I did with my son and my daughter is, I think a parent, you got to get out of their way.
Okay.
And you got to be there in the line of sight.
Okay.
And with my son is now at Juilliard.
Oh, okay.
And he is in his third year. He's
What
starting
is
his
he
third
playing,
year.
piano, or what is he
No,
playing?
he's an actor.
He's an actor. Wow.
They take 9 students.
Wow.
He didn't get there because of his dad. He got there because, as a parent, I just, and it's a theme I work with my students. Find your excellence and just practice it. It's not perfection.
That's right.
You're going to fail. And with my students, I love to always put that in front of them. Where's your excellence? Just practice it, and it becomes a habit for them. And that's what's that's what makes my job so great, is because all of a sudden, pretty soon the light starts to come on. They start to say, yeah, I am excellent.
Yeah.
And, they walk out with that value. I love that you talk about values. It's so cool. And what I do every summer is, and I'm going to do it again this summer, is I'm going to take a group of students to Rome, Italy for a month. And they just flourish. They get out, they're in Rome, they're on the bus, they're going to class, and they're with the Romans, and the light bulb goes off every day.
I think you're absolutely right. When I joined the Marine Corps and I rolled into Spain and France and Turkey and all these places in Israel, I said, wow, there's so much more than the San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
Wow, look at this place. And I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. And the people are very nice, and they're talkative. They want to talk to you. They want to know more about you. I say L.A., the first thing they think is Hollywood. Well, you've been to Hollywood. Like, yeah, I've been to Hollywood. Yeah. But it's amazing. Mm-hmm. There are good people out there, and just to experience Rome is amazing.
Well, one of the things about COC, and I have to give a shout out to our president, because one day it came into my mailbox, there was just a note there. Why don't we have study abroad trips in Italy?
Great idea.
Great idea.
You're like,
8 trips later. But it was just, it was just kind of that push, and because I'd gone to school in Italy, and but I really want our students, we get this idea about don't be afraid to fail, take a chance. Failure is just it's just a process of education, and practice your excellence, and it happens. It just evolves.
Absolutely, that's great advice. I am all about education. I got my degree after the Marine Corps, and you hit it on the nose. I remember going to a teacher when I didn't take a class serious, and the teacher actually failed me in the class, okay? And I had to go back to SC and take the same class. It was about 2 years later, because I stopped going. I got into real estate, started making a little money. I said, I need to go back. And then the light bulb went on. I said, I just got to finish. I have 2 classes left. I have to finish. So I went back, and I walk in, and it's the same teacher that failed me. Now, this is the difference. It's the attitude that you have. I went to her, and I said, teacher, I know that I messed around before. I didn't take your class serious. But I'm a different person now. I don't want you to look at me as the guy that was messing around in your class. I want you to look at me as a fresh new person. I promise you, I'll give you 100%. I'll do my best. I'll do every homework. I'll participate. You give me that opportunity, I need to get an A, and I'll show you what I can do. She looked at me and said, wow, nobody's ever told me that. So she was shocked, and I was true to my word. I gave it 100%. I participated. I did everything I could, and I got the A.
There you go.
And that's all it takes. So once again, this is thank you once again, Kevin and Allison, for being here with us. Enroll in College of the Canyons. Check it out. There's still time. This is the Commercial Hour, and we'll see you next week. Take care.